Good evening, my friends, and you are my friends, and welcome back to your half an hour Monday evening Formula One chit chat. I am your host, Mr. Martin, HDR Martin on Twitter. Find us over there, and I'm of course joined as always. Let me just get things rolling. I'm of course, as always, joined by two aficionados in the Formula One world. I shall introduce our more regular host, if you like, our network contributor for all things Formula One, the man, the myth, the legend. That is, of course, Mr. Steve Thompson. How are we doing?
I'm very well. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. Yes, not too bad. And as I explained to you before we came live, we will hopefully be sticking to the half an hour as close as we can, because obviously the network does have some financial restraints, and we've been deviating something because there's been so much chat going on, hasn't there?
It's been good to see. Good to see people getting involved and posting comments and keeping us going. But we're getting longer and longer.
Yeah, well, and that's fine. That's fine. But in the meantime, we'll try and keep to as close as we can to the half an hour. Nice week since last Monday.
Yeah, I've been back at work, hard at work. So passing the time. No Formula One to keep my. Well,
so what did you do on a Sunday afternoon?
Anyway,
what did you do on the Sunday afternoon to pass the time?
Sunday afternoon, spend time with the other half and the dog. Still play Formula One on the console. So I've still got to have my fix of Formula One in some form on a Sunday.
Did you do many races on the console Sunday afternoon?
I didn't. I just did the one. I was in France. I'm not fond of France.
I love the French track. I love it. I don't like all the colours on the tarmac. That messes with my brain. But being a new driver to Formula One consoles games, but the French track to me I'm really quite fast on that one.
It's a quick track. Maybe it's just my car, because my car isn't great right now.
Are you doing the My Team?
Yeah, still doing My Team. I'm in my second season. It's getting better, but I'm still struggling a bit.
I'm yet to do that myself. I keep meaning to and never really get round to it. But so you survived the week without the Formula One then?
I did. I'm just looking forward to this week now. I know I've got a race to look forward to at the end of it. So,
shall we bring GG in? Yeah, he's shaking his head there, but no, it's too late, my man. You're coming in. Here he comes, Mr. Neil Moles, the Norris fanboy. Welcome in.
Hello there. All right.
How are you? Are you GG tonight?
Yes, definitely. GG.
GG. How has your week been since last Monday?
Yeah, not too bad. I got my fix of motor racing because of the Indy 500 yesterday.
Ah, yes.
Of course, yeah.
Are you an Indy fan, Steve?
I like it. I've never really followed it as such, but I always sort of keep an eye on Twitter and see what's going on. And it didn't go well for Fernando, unfortunately, yesterday. But
no, he finished behind Max Chilton.
Oh dear!
Did he really? Right. Well.
Yes.
I'm going to pretend that means something to me. You see,
Max Chilton.
It means nothing.
There's only one Brit that's worse than Chilton, and that would be Palmer.
Carlton.
No.
Oh, Julian Palmer. Wow.
So you didn't watch the Indy yourself, though, Steve?
No, I didn't know.
No,
you missed Takami.
Mike Onslow, fantastic. Straight in. Guys, of course, follow Mike's lead, Ben's lead, Steve's lead. Steve, that's a great question, but it's not this show. Although if you get another 4 or 5 comments in that I can show on the screen, I might answer it before the show is out. But Mike Onslow, any of you guys ever watch BTCC?
Yes.
Yeah.
I've got the highlights recording on Friday.
Okay.
Nice. I haven't followed it for a few years, but I used to be quite a fan of it.
It's good.
Yeah. I need to get back into it, really.
I'm not a big fan of it. Sorry, Mike. But hey, we can always get ourselves into something. You two carry on. Sorry.
Yeah, BTCC I did watch. I haven't for a few years now, but I like it because it is close to racing. It's a lot less predictable than Formula One is right now. But I need to get back into it, I think.
I've seen some testing of a hybrid car that they might be bringing in.
Okay, that'd be an interesting way to go.
Yeah, there's been a few drivers go in and out of it, and different cars and things. So, yeah, this season's started off well with
Thoughts on MotoGP? Again, something I've not really followed, not really watched. I saw that massive crash and how close it was to taking Rossi out at the weekend. Was it last week? Last week.
Was it the Austrian?
It was fantastic. Yes, they were in Austria, yeah. And it was a hell of a shunt. So both guys were lucky to walk away from that one. But something I never. A few of my friends sort of liked bike racing and things in school, but I was always more Formula One.
I go in and out of MotoGP. It is awesome. You've got to admire the guys for doing it. They are great.
Oh, for sure.
Okay, I'm back. Toby, the Labrador Retriever, has finally stopped barking at the Xbox. It's not even on. It's not even on. So I don't even know what he's barking at. But there we go. But yes, guys, you can get all manner of comments into the show just by using the comment section, or of course you can appear by asking the link. I know Neil has appeared many times on the show when he hasn't been co-hosting, haven't you, Neil?
Yes.
Fairly easy process.
In.
Fairly easy process.
Definitely. You tap on the box and type away.
There you go. You certainly do. Okay, so tonight, proceedings, gentlemen, we've got the Williams takeover to talk about. We've got the Perez contract situation to talk about. We've got Concorde, not the plane, and we've got 2 quizzes this evening: a McLaren and a Williams quiz. Mike Onslow, great. Just before we move on to the Williams, great stuff. So on top, Merc 1 and 2. We'll get onto that very shortly. We are covering Belgium. I did leave that out, but we are covering Belgium a bit shortly. Do you want to answer Mike first and foremost, and then we'll go to Williams, Steve?
Yeah, that sounds a good thing. It's likely. I really think it is. With a track like Spa, it's so power friendly. It's going to reward, say, the Mercedes powered teams, with the exception of Williams. It will reward your racing points, Mercedes, very well, because you've got the long Camel straight, you've got the back straight. So, yeah, another Mercedes 1-2 for me. I really hope it's not the usual way around.
No, the quali ban has come in now, hasn't it? But is it for this weekend or is it in a couple of weeks? I don't know when it's actually coming into play.
I really hope this weekend. I'm not sure.
I know they've agreed it, but
hopefully
so if that comes in straight away, that might make a difference.
Yeah, definitely. I think if they do ban that, then other teams, still not Ferrari, but other teams like Red Bull could potentially throw a spanner in the works. They're a Racing Point as well. We know they're quick. So,
yeah, as far as I heard with it, basically the same modes you use for qualifying, you have to use in the race. So whatever the peak one is, yeah, it'll be the same for both.
Yeah.
So, if that stops Mercedes from having that ultimate performance, hopefully it'll allow others to close in.
I hope so, but my head is still telling me Mercedes 1-2 on Saturday by quite some margin, to be honest, with Verstappen in third.
The more harder choice is, who's going to be the third man?
It'll be Verstappen.
So you're saying Verstappen, yeah?
Yeah, or one of the Racing Points.
I think that'll be quick there. It's a track they normally do well at. I know they've completely changed their car and philosophy this season, but
well, if their reputation for doing well at Belgium continues, then they could be in with an outside shot. Maybe the top 3 start and a top 3 finish. So we'll see.
See how Perez does after he's been a little bit upset.
Yeah. I reckon he'll still get the edge over Stroll. So Perez with an outside shot for a podium. So reverse grid would be good. I can't see it ever happening. I mean, that would be great to see Williams get the front row, but the only time they will. But yeah, reverse grid based on championship position. Yeah, that's not too bad. Imagine seeing Latifi on pole position. That'd be great. But
I can't see all the teams agreeing to that. Just none of them. Someone always jumps in and
you can guarantee if you reverse the pole, Steve, Williams would still not be anywhere near the top positions. There'd suddenly be a midfield team.
Yeah, they'd suddenly wake up and find pace. Oh, great. All right.
No, it's the case. But you mentioned Latifi, you mentioned Williams. Talk to us about this Williams situation. Are they now an investment banking arm? What's going on? What's the story?
Do you know what they're called?
They're called Doralton, who is the company that's taken them out or has bought the team out. They were put up for sale a couple of months ago because they had a title sponsorship with Rocket, which they suddenly terminated earlier this year for reasons they haven't disclosed. Probably best to stay away from that. But the Rocket sponsorship was supposed to be, because Martini left at the end of 2018, and Rocket was supposed to be a sponsor who could put money into the team and try to move them back up. That didn't work out for whatever reason. And without a title sponsor, a team like Williams can't really compete. And with the financial situation they've been in for many years now, it was getting harder and harder. Results aren't coming. And if you're not getting results, you're never going to get the money to get further up the grid. So it's just a circle. They've been bought out by Untitled Capital, who are an American investment company. So I'm in two minds about this, because it's sad that Williams are no longer that sort of last privateer, family-owned team. But it's good because they've now got substantial backing for the foreseeable future. So
do we know how much they've been bought out by? Is it just a complete takeover, or is it a certain percentage? Or
complete takeover that wipes the debt as well. So it's sort of around the 150 million mark, I believe. So quite a lot of money. But that's literally, they've taken over the entire team and all the assets and things like that. They're keeping the Williams name. They're keeping the FW chassis name, because all the Williams cars have FW at the start of their chassis for Frank Williams. And they're keeping the team based in Grove in Oxfordshire, which I had the pleasure to go to last year with a friend of mine. We went to their heritage centre, and it was fantastic. And the facilities are incredible. So to keep the team there is keeping their heritage and their history. So I think it's good in the long term for Williams. It's going to take a bit of time to come good, I suppose, maybe a year or two, especially if you've not got the reg changes until 2022. But I think in a couple of years, where they've now got that sort of bit of investment behind them, they can improve facilities, personnel. You know, they could attract bigger name drivers as well. If Russell moves on, if Latifi moves on, they could attract bigger name drivers. I think this could be good for them. So I'm happy as a Williams fan. I'm very happy with it.
Neil?
Yeah, I tried to read up and try and find out, who this Untitled Capital was. And basically there's just this main slogan that the company is a private investment firm seeking to acquire, recapitalize, and support the long-term growth of middle market business across a range of industry sectors. They seem quite a company that's willing to allow businesses to continue as they were, but invest in them. So hopefully, they'll keep showing the respect, and Williams can, still be the team we know them to be.
Now, obviously, I'm brand new to the sport. We've made no bones about that on this show. Ben Moore, bit of an insider joke towards me and Neil, because we play Football Manager, and Ben's coming on board to play against us. But being a new fan of Formula One, and obviously Football Manager mentioned there, when a club is taken over by a multi-billionaire, it can mean many manner of new things happening. What does it mean in the world of Formula One when this happens? Like, what can they actually change, achieve, do, anything? What's it usually mean?
Well, with big investment, especially from someone like that, that's the first thing that Mike has just said there. There'll be less or no need for pay drivers, so they can bring drivers in who are pure talent. Every driver is going to bring in a bit of money. That's a given. But the past few years, we've seen it with Latifi, we've seen it with Lance Stroll, we've seen it with Sergei Sorokin. The past few years, they have had to rely heavily on pay drivers. And I'm not, my thoughts on Lance Stroll, but he wasn't good for the team. I mean, yeah, sure. He brought in a ton of money, but he wasn't getting the results. The car wasn't great anyway, but he wasn't getting the results, apart from that lucky podium in Azerbaijan. But for a start, Mike's hit it on the head there. There'll be less and no need for pay drivers. They can invest in bigger and better equipment, because teams like Mercedes, Red Bull, Ferrari are going to have the state-of-the-art gear, and Williams are never going to have that. But before this
budget caps that's coming in, McLaren decided to build a wind tunnel, didn't they? So whether Williams have time to do the same now. Yeah,
because if listening to George Russell's comments recently, the car is too draggy. So that, and again on a circuit like Belgium, that's going to hurt them, because it's all about aero, and it's all about straight line speed. So this is going to hurt them this weekend. So if they can get better aero, use a wind tunnel to utilise that, or to achieve that. So Dorilton hopefully can put a lot of money into upgrading equipment. They could bring in their own personnel who know a bit about the sport as well, because Claire Williams is trying her best as the deputy team principal. And she's done all right. It can't be easy having a Formula One team in that position in this climate. So fair play to her, but she's never struck me as a team leader. So
No.
they could bring in, I doubt they will because she's a Williams, but they could bring in someone maybe to work alongside her as more of a person to pull the team along. So like a Ross Brawn type figure. They could have someone like that. So the doors are open. It's brilliant.
Would you see somebody work alongside her with a view to maybe transitioning her out, Neil? Maybe, somebody come alongside for the first 3-4 years and then over time, she's slowly phased out. Would you see that happening maybe?
As soon as Williams is pushed aside, basically they've lost control of their team. She is the last final, basically handhold on that team.
Well, Frank is obviously still around, and he's still at the factory, and but obviously he's a bit restricted now. He can't get to races. Not like he used to. He can't get around like he used to. So Claire is sort of the de facto team principal now. So she's obviously the one who goes to the races and everything like that. But yeah, as soon as she is there, they're going to have to try something serious to get her out, because she's not going to back down, because they are still Williams at the end of the day. So.
Okay.
To be fair, she could be someone, if she do a more of a sideways move where she can still oversee everything, but have the likes of a Ross Brawn working below her, organising and all that sort of thing. She can still oversee it all and have her say, but you need to have the right members in that can just get the most out of the team.
Yeah, I reckon so. She could maybe. I mean, you've got some teams that have sort of multiple personnel at the helm. You had it years ago at Ferrari. You had Ross Brawn and Jean Todt. You had it for a little bit at Mercedes. You had Toto Wolff and Niki Lauda as well. So she could have someone sort of to work alongside her. And I'd quite like to see that, because you could have her sort of being the face of Williams and sort of doing the day-to-day running of the team, but you could have someone else who's maybe more of a leader to tell them all to pull the pants up and get on with their jobs and get up the grid. So.
And obviously, you're a big diehard Williams fan. So, what do you want to see from your club? Basically, what do you want to see?
I want to see Claire stay. I think she will, as we've said. I want to see her stay because mainly for Frank Williams, because he's an old man. He's quite elderly now. He's pushing 80. I want to see success return to that team before it's too late, really, because they've not won a championship since '97 now, which is a long time. I was only 4 when they won their championship. I don't know what they were. And I've only seen limited success with them, sort of in the 20-odd years. Thank you. 20 years I've been watching Formula One. So I'd like to see some success back. I mean, even just seeing them get the odd podium to start with, or to get regular points, to show there's progress, getting podiums, and then showing Mercedes how it's done in a couple of years. But
what do you think, Neil, as a non-Williams fan, but an F1 fan, what do you think is achievable for this Williams team following the investment?
To be fair, the investment will probably be more of a slow progress thing. The same with McLaren. The big deficit in the money they lost through the fine, that took a while to come through and make them go downhill. And then you have decision making within the team. If you have good, then the team can bounce back. If you just have a continuation of the wrong personnel in the wrong places, you just end up going down a bit of a decline. And it's just everything lining up. This money can mean they can improve, go somewhere, but it's just about, can the team have the right personnel to implement it?
Okay. Well, a couple of comments there from Mike, or one from Mike, one from Ben. What Mike said about being the F1 equivalent of director of football. Yeah, that'd be good, because she can take a step back essentially and, like we said, do the day-to-day running of the team. She can go to races, go to the factory, but then they can have someone else who maybe has more experience as a team principal of a race-winning team or a front-running team, to really sort of motivate the team, motivate the drivers, and get the best out of that team. Because I sometimes get the feeling that she's not able to get the best out of that team.
Does this Williams investment move them more towards the realms of how McLaren are run? There's the back investors, and then you've got the team run themselves.
Because
you've got the main manufacturers, haven't you? The Mercedes, Ferrari, and that, and then Red Bull with the Honda backing, so they're considered a factory run team. Williams and McLaren, they're sort of more in the similar ballpark now, aren't they?
They are, yeah. So it'd be nice to see, certainly in the coming years, the comparison, how Williams and McLaren are going to fight. I mean, we could see the two of them at the front of the grid again. I mean, McLaren obviously got further there than Williams right now, but in the coming years, you can see those two fighting at the front again, and I'd love to see that, because that's the Formula One I know from when I started watching it. You had Ferrari, McLaren, Williams always fighting for the wins, and that was great. So,
and Ben Moore here. When Hamilton and Bottas leave, who would you see replacing them, and why?
Russell and Verstappen.
You've said Russell before. You really think that?
Yeah, I genuinely do. He is a very, very good driver. He's a nice guy. I mean, niceness doesn't get you anywhere in Formula One. It's sometimes if you're too nice, you're less likely to have success. Barrichello, Coulthard, Bottas. But Russell, he's backed by Mercedes. They love him. People love him. And I think he would certainly do a good job with Mercedes, and I reckon Verstappen, because everyone wants Verstappen in their team.
Yeah. I think Red Bull before have asked about the vacancy of Norris. So potentially, if Verstappen went away from there, Norris could be got in, as his rated quite highly.
Yeah. Would a Russell and Verstappen want to sort of work? Is that a tandem that could come together?
It would be volatile, more from Verstappen's side, because Verstappen, obviously, he's built the team around him at Red Bull. And he's going to go to a team where he wants to be number one driver, but then they're also thinking, hang on, we've got one of our boys in the car, and we want to see a Mercedes young driver do well, because it would look great for their academy and for them as a business.
I think it would depend majorly on who went there first. You think if Russell went there first, Verstappen being the big name he is and as good as he is, he could upset things. But obviously, if Verstappen goes there first, then it would just be Russell being the number two for me.
But a big cry away from the maybe docile nature of Bottas with Hamilton. A far cry from that, right?
We need a more volatile, dangerous teammate pairing than we've got with Hamilton and Bottas, because it's so dull, especially after the 4 years of Hamilton Rosberg, which was, explosive. Multiple on-track collisions, multiple off-track words and scuffles almost. And then they've replaced Rosberg with this guy who just rolls over and he's got no real personality, and just fight Hamilton. Come on.
Do you think they expected more from him? He's never really done that step forward.
I think so, because when they came in, they thought, all right, we've got a guy who's happy to play number two to Lewis. But when we need it from him, he'll step forward and he'll take the win, or he'll fight. But he's just not been aggressive enough. I think I've said it before in a previous podcast that there was a move that Riccardo did on him, which was insane. And Bottas had the opportunity to get him back, and he didn't do it, and it cost him the win, and Riccardo won the race. It was in China. And he lacks that killer instinct, which a team like Mercedes does need, especially if something happens to Lewis. Their only hope is Valtteri, and if he can't fight, he couldn't really catch up to Verstappen in the last race. And if it takes you that long to pass a racing point, they need someone quicker. Russell.
Okay. Now, Lopez, contract situation. Talk to me, guys. What's going on there? Perez. Sorry, I've written Lopez. You're right. See, I knew I'd written Lopez somewhere. Perez. I will change that while you two tell me what's going on with Perez. He should be called Lopez.
No one knows what's going on with Perez. He is driving for Racing Point next season. He's not driving for Racing Point next season. He's Schrodinger's racing driver right now.
Well, he's contracted for the next 3 years, isn't he? And I think the media have made up some clause in his contract that apparently doesn't exist, and the date of activating that clause is past anyway, whether it exists or not. And basically Vettel is potentially the man to replace him.
Perez. Well, if you're going to believe the media, then Vettel's already got the deal done. He was seen elbowing with Otmar Safnauer, their team boss. So that obviously means there's a contract signed. And he got in his car as well. So definitely something has been signed. But if you're not gullible to believe, or not gullible enough to believe the media. I don't think it's worked out yet.
No, Perez is fighting it the whole way by the seams.
He is. He's saying that I've got to drive for next year. He's not going to roll over and back out.
Apparently, he said it had to say it 3 times in one interview, reminding people, "I'm still contracted. I'm not going anywhere."
Doesn't surprise me. But if any of the 2 drivers are going to make way for Seb, Lance Stroll, get rid of him.
Has to be.
But his daddy owns the team. And I mean, and his dad has said apparently in the past that if Lance isn't quick enough, he will look for a replacement driver. But you can't do that to your son. You know. I mean, it would be nice to see Lance Stroll replaced by Seb, but no, I don't know. A Perez and Vettel pairing would be great.
He's not going to go, though, is he? Yeah. Old man's in charge, so you just wipe it from your memory. It's just not going to go. It's not going to happen.
Yeah, you're probably right. Yeah. I mean, I'd love it, but
it would be out of order for Perez if he's pushed out of that team. That's ridiculous.
You could find a seat at Alfa Romeo.
You both seem in agreement that it should be Stroll. Why should it be Stroll?
He's awful.
Why? He's an awful driver, or are you just not keen on him as a personality within the sport? Maybe I don't know.
He joins as far as the person goes. I don't know him, so he could be an absolute fantastic person. But on the racing track, he joins the realms of Palmer for me and Max Chilton. He's just not good enough.
He's not. I mean, what proves it for me is in Silverstone, he was being beaten by a man who's not driven an F1 car since November last year when Hulkenberg came in to replace him. And he was outpaced by a guy who's not driven a car for that long. And he's been up there with Perez this year, but when it matters, Perez has the consistency. Even after missing 2 races, obviously due to testing positive for COVID-19. But there was a comment that he said in the Williams years ago, and I think I've mentioned it before, but he was racing around Monaco in the Williams, which that year, 2018, wasn't a great car, and he was a couple of laps down, and he wasn't having a good time. And he came on the radio and said, "What's the point in even racing now?" And that really irritated me because you're a racing driver. It's your job. Race.
You've mentioned that quite a few times without provocation.
I still wake up screaming.
As far as Mike's comment goes about the inheritance, I actually think that Lance has been set up with several businessmen anyway, so he's got his own enterprise going on. So I don't really think he needs it.
Well,
he's going to be his own businessman in his own right, I think.
Needs it, gets it. Who knows? But what we do know is next week's Belgium. Talk to me about the Belgium Grand Prix, guys. What do we expect? What do we want to expect? And what do you wish for? Come on, what do we see?
Williams 1-2 in qualifying. Williams 1-2 across the race. Latifi takes the win from Russell. But it's probably going to be a Hamilton win again.
Don't sound too upset with that. He's the best driver of our generation.
Come on, Martin.
He is.
Okay.
Name me a better driver. Name me a better driver.
Great, and he should be respected more for what he has done.
Oh, yeah,
I know people dislike him for the same reason that a lot of people dislike Schumacher. He's winning too often, and people are getting fed up with it. But that you can't take away with the fact that how brilliant he has been.
No,
genius.
He's fantastic. He is one of the greatest drivers of the generation. As I've said before, you can't say the greatest of all time. It's impossible to tell. But greatest of his generation, he's up there. I mean, you've got the likes of Fernando Alonso, Sebastian Vettel, who are all competitive in his generation. Kimi Räikkönen, sort of. But Hamilton he's wiped the floor with them all, really. I mean, Vettel had the dominant years at Red Bull. Alonso had the years at Renault. But in similar cars, when he was in Ferrari and Hamilton was in McLaren, yeah, they were evenly matched, I'd say. But yeah, one of the greatest of the generation, if not the.
Neil, what do you want from the Belgian Grand Prix next weekend?
Anyway, that it'll be spiced up. So whether are we more likely to have rain? I don't know what the weather's like over there, but
there's a few hurricanes knocking around that might have a tail end coming across the.
Splendid. So hopefully for that, then we'll get a nice bit of rain and spice it up.
Yeah, do you want to be spiced up? But would you be against? As I think Steve's really against a 1 and 2 for the Silver Arrows, but would you be against 1 and 2?
if they do a cracking job and they get the 1-2, I'm fine with it. But obviously, from a neutral perspective, you want as many people to be in the hunt and be in the fight. And yeah, basically, if we can have a cracking race out of it, that's what everyone wants.
Ben Moore here coming through with the prediction of the century. Mercs to fight with each other for once, and then Vettel, which alone, knowing how Bottas operates as a number 2 driver, you know, but then Vettel still has a podium with Riccardo fighting with Perez for 4th, and Max will win with Albon 2nd. How do we feel on that one?
Yeah, put it this way, if Vettel's there, I want to know what Leclerc's been doing all afternoon.
Yeah.
He's even still racing.
Yeah, I'd like to see Mercs fight for each other, and as they approach Eau Rouge, they somehow make contacts. One gets a broken front wing, one gets a puncture. That's them out of the way. Verstappen through the middle. Race win for Red Bull, Max Verstappen. Double podium for Ferrari. Latifi and Russell 9th and 10th. There you go.
If I'm watching it and that happens, I'm going to be messaging you straight away, Steve. And I expect some lovely articles coming out of you, because that's going to be something pure love, won't it?
I just want an exciting race to write about, because I had to try and find stuff to write about Spain, and it was awful. I thought, what could I write about? Nothing happens. It started, and about an hour and a half later, it finished. And then there's nothing in between.
Mike Onslow, with the best short-term fix to spice up F1, in my opinion, will be enforcing 2 stops, requiring all 3 compounds and getting rid of the start on your best tyre from Q2 rule. What do you think on that one, Neil?
I'm not sure. I agree in some ways. It could spice it, but whenever you enforce something, it just means that things will work out a different way. So Mercedes are great, and to be fair, if you had softer compounds, like we did a couple of races ago, that just means they wear out, you'd end up helping Mercedes in that case.
Neil, I've already asked Neil. Steve, what do you think?
2 stops would be good, because you do see a 1-stop race and it is quite boring, especially if something does go wrong in that pit stop. There's always, with more pit stops, there's always a chance of something going wrong, so it could spice it up. Strategies would be great, because you could have 3 different drivers starting on 3 different tyres. We saw that work quite well for Verstappen in Silverstone. We started on the mediums and went very well. So, yeah, I think I'm up for that. That'd be good.
I've always been someone that I like the idea of bringing refueling back, but as with refueling, the whole 2-stop thing, teams end up not fighting on track as much, because they know that they've got more stops. They can try and do the overtaking in the stops. They can adjust their plans and just do it the safer way. So you could end up making the racing worse than it is.
It did sometimes, because you think, oh, okay, so-and-so's in the lead, but don't bother fighting him, because he's got to come in anyway. So it would be much the same as it is now with the tyres, where you think, oh, you're behind, I don't know, Riccardo, but don't bother fighting him, because we know he's got another stop, so don't push too hard on your tyres. It would be a bit like that again. So no refueling, I think, is certainly for now the way to stay.
I think anything that makes teams think a little bit more, right? And come up with different strategies, and you can go, one team come in with one strategy, another team come in with another strategy, very much like Silverstone with Hamilton and Verstappen, and it can work. The thing is, for others.
To enjoy that, you've got to be of more that sort of mindset to be able to read beyond what's just happening, to predict what's going to happen, who's doing what, and where it can lead. Because if you're just the sort of person that is just watching the cars go round, there's just so much more to it than just that.
It also will show which teams are stronger and which teams are weaker in terms of mental thinking, because teams at Racing Point always come up with very good strategies. Ferrari have struggled in recent years with strategies. They're having to rely on Seb to tell them what the best strategy is, which is daft. But it could show the difference between how teams think strategy-wise. So,
okay, right. Let's bring today's wonderful episode to a near close. We first have our end of the show quiz. We have got 2 different quizzes tonight. We have got a McLaren quiz and a Williams quiz. Basically, you've both got 5 minutes. The chat can help you. You can help each other if you choose to. But I've got Williams Formula One team winners. So all winners for Williams Formula One team. Okay, there's 16 of them, and the same for McLaren, and there's 18 of them.
What, 16? Everyone who's won a race for Williams?
Yes.
Oh, Jesus.
Okay. You've got 5 minutes. Neil technically has 7 minutes because there's more winners. Sorry to tell you that, Steve.
Whee!
But that's just the way it goes, my friend. When you are ready, who wants to go first? Do you want to go Neil first, or do you want our host to go first, Neil? What do you want?
We can go down the Williams route.
Yeah,
I'm intrigued on both. Yeah.
right. When you're ready, you can begin. Your time starts now.
Okay, you've got Juan Pablo Montoya, Ralph Schumacher, Damon Hill, Nigel Mansell, Riccardo Patrese.
Whoa, slow down.
Nope.
Go on.
Carlos Reutemann.
Yeah.
Their first championship. Alan Jones, Heinz-Harald Frentzen, Jacques Villeneuve.
You're doing well. That's 7.
I thought I had 9.
No, I've only got 7. Keep going.
Pastor Maldonado.
Did you say Hill?
Yeah, Damon
Yeah,
Hill.
he did.
Massa?
No, he never won a race for them. Neither did Bottas. Did Clay Regazzoni? Did he win a race for Williams?
No, I haven't got him. Yes, I have. Yes, yeah. Yep.
Oh, jeez. Yeah.
Did you say Jacques Villeneuve?
Yeah. I've said them.
Have you? Okay, so you have got 9. You have got 9. Yep, fine. Carry on.
Nigel Mansell, Riccardo Patrese.
Most British sounding name in the world I've got here.
Nigel. Derek Warwick, did he win?
Nope.
No, I don't think he drove for Williams, actually. No. Oh, man.
Can you help him out, Neil? Can you help him out? He's got 2 minutes.
No, he's got all the main men. and more, to be fair.
Jeez.
You're so close. You're so close.
How many have I got?
You've got 12. If I said to you, like most common surname in English in England, so you got Smith, you got somebody who's called Big Al is normally that's normally short for.
I'm struggling. Rosberg didn't win for them. No, Sterling Moss was before Williams.
He was. No,
Smith.
you give up?
Yeah, I give up.
Okay, so these are all the winners that I've got. Nigel Mansell, Damon Hill, Alan Jones.
So I said Alan Jones. Yeah.
Jack. So you got 13. Jack Villeneuve, Nelson
PK.
Alain Prost.
He's champion the year I was born.
Ralph Schumacher,
well.
Kiki Rosberg, Riccardo Patrese, Juan Pablo Montoya, Carlos Reutemann, Thierry Boutin, Clay Regazzoni, David Coulthard, Heinz-Harald Frentzen, and
Heinz-Harald, yeah.
I got Frentzen. I should have got Coulthard. I should have got PK. I should have got Prost. He's one of the most successful drivers.
I will give you, Neil.
No, I wouldn't. Just the 5 because, there's many I am not going to get.
Yeah, that's what I say. I'll give you the 5. You ready? When you're set, ready, go. So McLaren winners.
Senna,
right.
We've got Raikkonen, Kimi Raikkonen.
Yeah, keep going.
David Coulthard.
Yep.
Mika Häkkinen.
Yep.
What about Bruce McLaren himself?
Yes, 5. Yep. You got 1 championship. Keep going.
Jenson Button, Lewis Hamilton.
Yeah. Hamilton, Button. Yeah.
Prost. Did he?
Yep.
I can think of a couple.
Do you want to help? Oh no, Button wasn't one. Sorry, but do you want to help him out? Do you want to help him out? That's the question.
Button did win with McLaren.
Then this quiz is out of date, but carry on.
James
Canada.
Hunt.
Well, it was Canada he won.
That's
James
why
Hunt.
I said yes, but he's not on this list.
Okay.
James Hutton.
Yep.
James Hunt.
Hunt. James
Yeah,
Hunt.
Yeah,
Yep.
he's in it. He's on it. He's on it. Keep
Legend.
going.
Nicky
Keep
Lauda.
going.
There's Nicky Lauda,
Correct.
Alonso.
Yep.
Oh,
Heikki
yeah.
Kovalainen.
I only thought Alonso's, second time round where
3
Honda
minutes.
days.
You got 3 minutes.
Yeah, Heikki Kovalainen.
Yep. Yeah. Ben's on it.
Oh, there you go. Oh, did Gerhard Berger? Did he win in McLaren?
Gerhard Berger. Yeah, he did. Yes, he did. Great shout. 3 wins.
That's me done.
Neil, come on. Your team needs you.
They're in trouble if they need me.
Do you
Did
give up?
Riccardo drive for McLaren as well?
Right. If Neil gives up, I'll give you the winners.
Go on then.
Right. You got Anton Senna. You got Alan Prost, Mika
Ayrton.
Hakkinen.
Yeah.
Whatever. David Coulthard, Lewis Hamilton, James Hunt, Kimi Räikkönen, Niki Lauda, Denny Hume,
No.
Emerson Fittipaldi,
Fittipaldi.
Emerson Fittipaldi. Yeah.
I'm sure that's what I said. Fernando Alonso, John Watson, Gerhard Berger, Joan Pablo Montoya, Peter Revson,
Oh, Montoya. Yes.
Oh,
Done it for them as well.
Heikki Kovalainen, Joachim Mass with his 1 win, and Bruce McLaren.
The
There we
legend.
go. I thought we'd
The man himself.
Yeah, that was that got you both thinking a little bit, didn't it?
it hurt my brain.
Sorry. I couldn't find an actual quiz on Williams.
I-
It said denied. But
I'm ashamed that I forgot Alan Prost.
yeah,
Oh.
well, it could have been worse because Neil could have not said Bruce McLaren. You know, that would have been almost epically
true.
failing. But
He's
he's managed.
Frank Williams never drove for his own team.
But had he done and won, then if you forgot him, that's obviously epically failing of all proportions. But there we go. So we're done for today. We're getting better. Only 10 minutes over budget. I'll have to get an extra paper round or something to pay for the extra podcast hosting. Anything you want to end with, guys, or let the guys know about next week's show? Steve, what do you want to do?
It's just the usual. Thank you very much for watching again and getting involved in the chat for all who did. It's always nice to have input from everyone saying what they think. That's what we like. 8 p.m. on Monday again, week's time for the Belgium Grand Prix show. Probably looking ahead to the next race as well. Hopefully, we've got plenty to talk about from Belgium.
Well, we'll have Hamilton's win to talk about, won't we? And we'll have
we'll
have Russell with a DNF. And we'll sorry. How about you, Neil? Any thoughts ahead of next week before we close finally?
Has Istanbul actually been no? I was thinking, has Istanbul actually been added to the calendar yet?
Oh yeah.
Okay. There's talks of that one. Okay. So hopefully we can say that's been added.
I hope so.
Then.
It's a fantastic circuit. That's brilliant.
There we go. We'll see you all next Monday, 8 p.m. Adios, my friends. Adios.